Hi, I'm Jordan. This is my 2008 Cayman S Sport. Welcome to my drive along. So if you think back to the beginning of the Cayman, Pinky Lay designed the Cayman, and they wanted a much more aggressive look than the Boxster. They also wanted something that was really purpose-built. I think there was always a bit of internal turmoil within Porsche between the mid-engine cars and the rear-engine car. There was always a friction at Porsche between those that thought that the 911 and its rear engine should be the direction of Porsche, and those that thought that the mid-engine platform would be the true sporting platform. As any Porsche enthusiast knows, this was a battle. And for many, many years, there was a battle between the Cayman and the 911 in regards to who was going to get what engines, what would be the platform that they would race on, and who would be the handling and performance king. The Cayman, being a mid-engine, rear transaxle car, has an incredible 50-50 weight distribution and some of the best handling of anything I've ever driven. Just so that you can get a history of cars that I've owned two Lotuses, an Elise, and an Exige. I've owned two Caymans, both Cayman S Sports. That's a long story. And I've owned 911s ranging from a 1967 all the way to present 991. So let me tell you a little bit about the 2008 Cayman S Sport. So the Sport was a special edition car. It was 1 year only. They produced 700 examples for the world. My understanding is there were about 200 examples that came to the US. There is a robust owners group for the Sport. There's a gentleman who's been keeping track of cars and also trying to figure out what cars are where and in what quantity levels. They do have a great Facebook page. It's a fantastic resource, the Cayman S Sport Owners Group. So what makes this car special? In 2008, you were just starting to see the earliest of the 997s. The car had grown quite a bit. The 911 had grown quite a bit during that time. And the Boxster was certainly not suiting those that wanted a true sporting car and thought that the 911 was too large. If you think back to the 997.1, sorry, going into a roundabout here. If you think back to 2008, the 997 was brand new, and there were certainly those that thought that the newer 997, which had grown quite a bit over the years from the original 911 to the G-body to the 964 to the 993 to the 996 and 997, the car had gotten bigger and heavier and more complex with time. The Boxster was never going to suit the needs of those who wanted a stiff, high performance, high handling sports car and weren't into the 2+2 911 anymore. So Pinky Lay was charged to design the Cayman. And although the Cayman does share some parts with the Boxster and also with the 911, it really was its own car. And I think that Pinky Lay really hit it out of the park with this generation of Cayman. It was different enough from the Boxster that, but it was no 997 killer. Those at Porsche always held the Cayman back. They always made sure that it had a little less horsepower than the 911 and that it wasn't able to reach its full potential. Now keep in mind, in 2008, there was no 911 Carrera GTS. There was no Cayman GTS. There was no Cayman GT4. There wasn't even a Cayman R. Your only options prior to this car were the Cayman and the Cayman S. So with the Sport, Porsche decided that they wanted to push it a little bit further and give performance drivers an option for a car that was more suited for performance driving without breaking the bank. Now this car new, if I remember, with the options as it was optioned, was about $80,000, which in 2008 was pretty serious money, especially for a car that would be considered a second-tier car compared to the 911. Can you imagine $80,000 in 2008? That would buy a lot of car. So what was unique about the Cayman S Sport? So they started with a Cayman S, special black wheel option. They treated the exterior of the car with the special paint option, black mirrors, Cayman S logos along the side as the old Carrera logos were. On the interior, you got an all black interior with a black headliner, a special Alcantara steering wheel from the GT3, Alcantara shifter from the GT3. They eliminated as many things as they could eliminate as well, both for styling and also for adding lightness. So little details like the sun visor that goes over the gauges on all the other cars was removed. Okay, don't know how much that saves, but it's unique to these cars as far as I know. This particular car was spec'd in a way which was really unusual. The first thing that you'll notice is that this car has the GT2 two-piece carbon fiber bucket seats. This was an exceedingly rare option because it was quite expensive. And of the 200 cars that came to the US, I don't think there are more than a handful of them that have these seats. These seats have sold on the second-hand market for over $10,000. So you can imagine they add quite a bit of value to the car. This car was also optioned with full leather. I haven't seen another one like it. That means leather door panels, leather dash, all the little leather trim items that were in that option package. So between the seats and the full leather option, it makes it a pretty rare car. The color is white, which was also rare. I think there were fewer whites and silvers ordered. The majority of the cars that were ordered were GT3 green or GT3 orange, which is great, but not very stealthy. I actually owned a GT3 orange one previously. This car has just a hair over 15,000 miles currently. I'm the second owner of the car. I've owned it about a year. The car was originally bought in California and was in California up until the time I purchased it. Every piece of paperwork that originally came with this car will go with the car. Everything from the original window sticker to all the welcome documents, every booklet and piece of paperwork that originally came with the car, including the brochures from the time. The car has been upgraded with an Alpine CarPlay stereo system. I do have the original PCM, which will go with the car. The car has also been upgraded with a backup camera. This car has been garaged since new. Since I brought it to New York, it has been in my climate-controlled garage, and I've driven it about 1,000 miles since I've owned it. It starts, runs, and drives perfectly. The exterior of the car is near perfect. There are no dings to speak of, and there are very few stone chips. Nothing that really detracts from the car at all. The paint is bright as you would expect on a 15,000 mile car. No real defects. There's never been any repainting done. The car's never been in an accident of any kind. The interior of the car is also in near perfect condition. There's one little scuff on the passenger seat, but nothing that really detracts from the car. I hope I've answered all of your questions. If you need to contact me, you can do that through Bring a Trailer. I'm happy to post additional photos or video if necessary. And otherwise, I wish you all the best of luck in your bidding, and I look forward to speaking with the new owner. Thank you.